Okay, so I'm back a lot sooner than I thought I would be. And it occurred to me when I got back here that I'd made all of this under the assumption that there'd be, standard affair, silicone jacket, blah blah blah. I don't need to do that for this. Like that's not a requirement. I can just have a fairly close rectangle because it's a fairly even-ish height the whole way along anyway. So like I don't if I just make a block, I don't need a jacket. So I decided I was gonna do that, and I started dismantling this. Um, yeah. So welcome to the life of a creative. Spend X many hours doing a thing, and then go, you know what? Actually, I'm not gonna do. It's fine. I suppose I just get so accustomed to doing things a certain way that it doesn't occur to me that actually there are other options that will probably work out slightly better and be, less of a faff, objectively. So, if I were to have this, what, like here somewhere, maybe slightly further out. Let's call it there-ish. Yeah, that seems fine. Just do the same sort of shtick with play on the inside. So yeah. Ugh. I swear I don't have hay fever, but I have a really gummy throat. Super irritating. Oh well, whatever. That's probably fine. But yeah, I'll just, reinstate this. I think it needs to be as involved as I was making it, to be honest. That's probably fine as is. I'd say, hey, it's all a learning curve, which it is, but also that is just cope. Categorically, that is just cope. That's whatever. I ain't super precious over it, objectively. I still need to work on my main as well. So I reckon I'll do this. Go outside to spray it with mold release, come back, contend with the silicone aspect, and then really I should start looking at my main here. I'm trying to organize my time for the day. So I'm doing bits and pieces here, and then ducking out to go fulfill various obligations, and then coming back and ducking out. I tend to find that's the best method for me. Because if I stay stuck on something for too long, then I just tend to get too involved, and then I can't break away, and then I end up not doing X, Y, Z, and blah blah blah. If I just split it up into like micro sessions, do various bits and pieces here and there, That's probably going to work out better. Then I get little bits of everything done. I'm one of those people that's like, oh, here's the stuff I did today. Ah, but you didn't do this specific thing, and then that's enough to annoy me. So this way, I can trick my brain into thinking I've done more than I have. Strats. That's good enough. This needs to come much closer. Maybe not quite that close. Trying to level it up if versus its counterpart. Not a bad guess. Yeah, we'll roll with that. Yeah, we'll roll with that. At least I'll have, a thing to show for my efforts today. That makes a change. Oh, but then I've got another project I need to work on today. Yes. Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to zip through a lot of this then. It is what it is. At least I've gone and sorted out my stuff with the GP. That's good. That was something I discovered I needed to do when I woke up this morning and thought, well, that throws a spanner into things. I've done that. I've made some phone calls for other things, and now I'm back here again. I got something to eat, so that's also a plus. Then to eat, refill my drink. So I'll do this, and then pour some silicone, and then probably wander off again for a bit whilst I do other things and stuff. I can see why I ended up using a tool for various. Because getting in there is tricky. I can probably use this. That's good enough. Main thing is I don't want to mark any of my sculpt. That would suck at this point. So yeah, we try and avoid doing that wherever possible. These are always the fun bits. Because they're the bits that feel like you're actually making the most progress. It did reach the point where I had to just go, you know what? It's as good as it needs to be. Stop. Walk away. It's fine. In fairness, everything that I messed with, I'm glad I did mess with. It would have absolutely annoyed me if I hadn't. So that's, really, it's fair enough. But it's definitely not the 2-day project I had envisioned. Envisaged? One of those. Right. How much further does that need to go? The question. Let's say about there. That seems like an okay distance. Because I don't really want to cut anything, because I'm probably going to use it again in the future. I can just, tap with it instead. That's preferable. Right. Decent. It's not far off. Fairness. So what I'll probably say is I whack one of these along here, I can match up the other one to fit that, which is pretty handy. Where did I put it? It's it. Oh. I reckon out there, because I can plug any gaps anyway, so it's not the end of the world. But at least now I've got half an idea. Like I'd said earlier, for some reason, when you go to do things a second time, they are way quicker. I guess just because you're figuring it out the first time, whereas the second time it's like, all right, well, I know how this goes now. Whatever, really. At least all of this is fairly soft now, so it's pretty easy to just squish. I wanted to be out here today because the weather's good. There is currently no sun to bake the garage door. So I want to capitalize on that as much as possible. I'm expecting this to leak eventually. Not particularly bothered though. I'll do what I can, but you know, I'm not exactly gonna sweat over it, if I'm honest. Not that phased. That plugs that. Be able to plug this with this. I wonder if I can fix that to there. Help at all. Maybe slightly, but not as much as I was hoping. Ah well. It is what it is. Right. Not in a bad position. Do still need to contend with this end bit, which is probably further from the point than it actually needs to be. I don't think that matters a lot. I'm going to say it doesn't matter. How do I play this? At least it should stay put then. I don't want to get these. There we go. It's better. Alright. Smush some more of this. And then, as I say, at that point, I can go spray everything with more of these and actually get this done. Why? I'm excited to test out various resins, see what I can do with this. This, right? It's better than nothing. Stop it leaving around as much. Alright, it's not the worst. Oh, not bad. Not bad. Gonna smush some bits down. I can see peeling away. Beyond that, I am unfazed. I do think I need to look for some cheap Lego job lots. I'm going to do stuff like this again in the future. And it's going to be a whole strat. I've seen people do that before. The biggest of brain moves, in my opinion. seems vaguely acceptable. I kind of want to do one on the outside as well. That's going to be the most sensible thing. Rather than just, oh, it's fine, I know it'll leak. Yes, but if you can fix it, maybe you should. Need to get better at doing that. Also going to stick on a hoodie real quick. I've got a fan going, and I want to keep a fan going, but sometimes it's just the more comfortable thing, you know? So let me switch my mic up real quick. Alright, now it's attached to my hoodie, so hopefully that's all fine. Okay. So, yes, I want to do more on the outside. It's just sensible. I definitely can't be bothered, but also I should. So, you know. That's the crux of it, really. Doesn't need to be a whole lot anyway. Right. And I suppose I could focus what I think are going to be problem areas. Like this. In fairness, I don't expect it to make its way through tape. Really. At least not enough for it to be a problem. It is just mostly these bits. Because they're fairly flimsy. So if they end up bowing, it's going to be an issue. So I'll just preempt it. Finish plugging this bit up here as well. I'm expecting it all to come up fairly high. It's just safer to have it there. Okay, I'm then fine with that. So I can swivel this sucker around. See what other gaps I need to fill on this side. Safety's sake. It's not bad, to be honest. I'm actually not too worried about that. This side I am slightly. Not bad. Okay. And then all of this is taped, so I really don't think it's gonna do anything. And if it does, then basically just it's not a big deal. Everything's pretty much sorted. And it only took me half an hour compared to however long it took me this morning. Yeesh. That was half an hour to dismantle and then reassemble it. That's what I mean. You do things once, and after that, you can typically sort of halve the time. Really. So that's a plus. Right. I am going to go and spray this with mold release out in the open real quick, and then I'll return. So bear with me for a second. Okay, I'm back. I'm back, and I need to grab me some of these. Now, what was the ratio? 10 to 1. Okay. Okay. So, double checked, and I don't need to wear a respirator with the silicone as long as I'm in a well-ventilated area, which I am. I opened the garage doors. There is also a fan. Everything is fine. Because, you know, safety is obscenely important. And just because I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't, I'm going to put on my safety glasses as well. There. Thoroughly fashionable. Sleeves, because the weather's better, so I can actually wear sleeves and not die. Seems pretty okay. It's 10 to 1, which means if I had... What do I usually do? So then the 1 would be 10. If I did 100, 10, 20, 30, yeah, okay. Then if I did 200, it would be 20, right? Pretty sure. Pretty sure that's how that works. I could be talking utter nonsense, but I'm fairly confident that is how that works. I'll go for the 100 anyway, because it's easier to mix everything in smaller batches. About how annoying it was to pour this stuff. It is really annoying. It just keeps going. That's roughly the hundy. So I'll do roughly the 10. Or should I just go straight in with a 200? Screw it. Let's straight in with a 200 because I'm going to need it, so whatever. Let's just do the thing. Screw it. This stuff is not nice. So it always pays to be extremely careful. That's why I'm stood at a distance. And because this always goes in, like, super watery, mixing it just really carefully. There. Now I can afford to be a little more aggressive with it. And now I'm going to stand a little closer to it. I'm probably overcautious with stuff like this, but I just think that there's no harm in that. No? Like, oh, you didn't need to stand so far away. Okay. And oh, it's not that bad. Cool. So nothing's lost, right? Like, the only harm comes from not being careful enough. So I will always be careful. Right. This looks reasonably well mixed, I'd say. You can usually tell from like the sides of the cup. You can sort of see if there are little white patches like this one. And then you just scrape around until you get it. That's usually the best way of telling. It's pretty stiff now, so I dare say that's not on a bad sitch. So the thing with this, like before, you always just pour it in the middle and let the edges contend for themselves after the fact. A little strand of fiberglass on that. It's not ideal. And then I know there's a lot of empty space around it. But like I said earlier, I do intend to use that after it's all cured to make mold keys for future jacket molds. I am in need of those, so, you know. It's going to be a big old block, but that's not going to be a problem because it will all be used for various purposes. So, you know, not actually a problem, I dare say. Get some more down here as well. me get out as much of what's in here as I possibly can. Put a big old clump on here now. That's better. Just worried about that little bit. Unlike last time, I don't really want to be going around dragging bits and dumping them on top, because there isn't a need, really. It also makes a mess and I don't like it. That's the lesser important aspect, objectively. Right. So then, what I want to do is put these somewhere. I mean, that's probably fine. And then you get rid of this. A new one. And do the same sort of thing, basically. Fire. We do the same sort of thing around 200 again, I reckon. Okay. 150. I can deal with 150. That should be fine. And as before, I'm going to be extremely careful mixing it. Might help if it was actually visible. There we go. Because the catalyst is just the consistency of water. So it will splash if I'm not very careful. And I'm having none of that, frankly. getting pretty stiff. Again, looking at the sides. Some unmixed bits there. This looks pretty decent at this point. So then, same shtick as before. Kinda get one of these. Now I'm going to start faffing with it again. Hey, I'm here to bother you with dumb jokes. I hope you don't mind. You go nuts. Do what you like. Well, within reason. As long as it's nothing, you know. In ancient Rome, alphabet soup was called Times New Ramen. That's I like that. That's good. That's good. Uh that's that's yeah, that's silly. I like that one. I hate sliding doors. They're unhinged. This is all very reminiscent of one of my granddad's favorite comedians. Forget what his name is. Ah, he's got like Hawaiian shirts and mad hair. Forgotten what that's bad. I'll have to find out. He's got a bunch of those kinds of one-liners. Milton. Milton something, I think. Oh, rings a bell? Yeah. Sure, if I looked him up, I'd find him. A man was assaulted by a group of mimes. They did unspeakable things to him. I this is one of those things that I shouldn't be enjoying as much as I am, frankly. It's one of those like guilty pleasure type affairs. Tried to file a police report, but no one could find the weapon of assault. Yeah, I'm trying to go through my head now because I've got a bunch of silly jokes. I, I had to read that one first, but okay. In ancient Greece, mathematicians sent their bad triangles for committing crimes against humanity to serve their light sentence and reflect on their actions. Good grief. That one's uh that one's fairly involved. Good effort. How much more am I gonna need? I reckon I can get away with another one. Hopefully. Send their bad triangles to prism. Yep. Yep. Damn, I forgot that part. It's fine. It doesn't 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 make a whole lot of difference. In fairness, oh, it's so gonna leak out of that hole. I hadn't considered that. It's all right. There's tape there. What happens happens. Two Honda Accords collided and became a Honda accordion. What? What is this? What? Why? I. It's just such a weird combination of things. I got I got random silly one-liners plus silicon mold making plus Sabaton in my ears. I have no idea how I feel about it. Such a weird combo. My son spilled milk last night. It was an utter catastrophe. I feel like I'm butchering the delivery of these as well. I should put more effort in. I'm glad you're enjoying yourself though. Nah, you're doing good. I'm so not. I'm so not. But I think now, I know a bunch of one-liners. Can I drop 18 plus jokes? I'm I'm gonna say no, just not to be lame, just for the sake of having all the VODs go up on my YouTube, etc. Like, I'm gonna try and be vaguely sensible with it. Good grief. I just saw the end of that. Can I drop 18 plus jokes? 19. You know what? You know what? You got me. That's actually completely fair. You win. You win. I got nothing. That actually shows me up a treat. Well done. Beyond fair. Played me like a damn fiddle. This is my favorite joke. Always gets people off guard. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna have to tell my granddad a bunch of these. He'll love them. He loves stuff like this. Milton Jones, I think. I think the comedian's name is Milton Jones. An engineer built a hanging bridge because he likes the suspense. Where are you getting these? And I love how you just came in and that was your intent out the gate. Was like, right, I have a bunch of jokes. Nothing, no other opener. Just right. Just cracked your knuckles and got straight to it. Priorities. I approve. I have them in my brain. It's my database. I am so sorry for butchering the delivery on literally all of these. Yeah, have to ask for permission. Ah, fair. Totally fair. I'm totally open to perfectly harmless shenanigans. It is completely fine. It's just I always read jokes through first because I got once by a joke that was very not okay. So, I've got a good memory for useless things and a bad memory for useful things. Yeah. Tell me about it. That is very, very relatable. That's why I failed calculus 3 times. Jeez. There was a vampire bartender who had a knack for mixing blood named Count at you know what? I'm so sorry. I ruined that. Count Amination. I swear I tried. I'm not doing any of these justice. I want to clarify. Contamination. Okay. Yeah, I'm doing you a great disservice here. Okay, you got the Times New Ramen perfectly, so you're forgiven. what, what do people not do that one? Actually, you know what? That's a good question. Who? How many other people have you done this to? Is this just a regular thing? Just gonna hop online, find a random streamer, and go ham. Giraffes can play video games using Giraffix cards. Nice. I read through that one pretty intently first, just just to make sure I wasn't butchering it this time. You do this a lot? Jeez. I mean, I enjoy the commitment to the bit, as it were. Hop online, find a random streamer with low view counts, drop dumb jokes for giggles, then boogie. Hey, you know what? Fair play. I'm cool with that. Keeps me entertained. Alright, let me not butcher this. Yemen had a coffee delivery service like DoorDash or Deliveroo. The carriers were called Yahweh's Witnesses. Nice. Jeez. This is such a weird timeline. Ding Dong Ditch was invented by a Jehovah's Witness with anxiety. uh, I like that one. I can probably get away with that one. There was a French rapper named Lil Wee Wee. That's I choose to believe I can get away with that one. That seems fine. I don't know how much more I'm gonna get out of this pot, to be honest. I reckon if I were to mix up one more, I would be safe. Everyone's shocked when they discover I'm a bad electrician. Nice. Nice. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do another one at least. Just to play it safe. I'm gonna have to write a bunch of these down somewhere. Carbon-based life forms implies the existence of carbon cringe life forms. I have been witness to carbon cringe life forms. I can vouch that they absolutely exist. There's a dating app for old people called Carbon Dating. Jeez. You know what? I reckon, actually, that's a good business idea. Aging archaeologists. I reckon it'd be a hit. Not sure how much more I'm gonna be able to get out of this tub. Scanner's just taking on. It's disappointing that we don't have a magazine that caters to fathers called Daddy Issues. Very good. It's impressive that I haven't heard of most of these before, because that's usually the case. Is that you get a bunch of one-liners and it's just old school stuff. But it's refreshing to be hit with stuff that I've not actually been exposed to before. So well played. I came up with most of them. That's nuts, because they're actually quite good. I I do enjoy the carbon cringe life form. That is funny. It's gonna take a while to get the rest of this, I think. Might just have to leave it vibing for a minute, to the best of my ability. I'll just hold it. That's fine. Try using this pickup line. You'll get good chances. Girl, are you a beaver? Because damn. Smooth. Definitely. Definitely smooth. Has that ever worked? Asking for a friend. Don't know, honestly. I seduced my wife with Monkey Island lines. That's pretty immaculate. I gotta go. It's been a good time hanging out here for such a short while. No worries. Hey, awesome. Thanks for thanks for stopping by. Definitely good for a giggle. So epic. I uh I look forward to probably hearing more nonsense from you at some point soon. Have fun and stay safe. Yeah, you too. Have a good day or night or whatever it is where you're at. And yeah, catch you on the flip side, I guess. Oh, camera froze. No, we're fine. At what point do I call this quits? Because this is taking a long time. Maybe I just call it here for now. I'll leave it. I'll leave it to think about its life choices for a bit. Don't really want to waste anything. That's the thing. Ah, I think I am just gonna have to call it here for now. I will come back to it. Probably. Yeah, there's an exposed bit up there that I want to contend with. Oop, that is definitely too much. My bad. I reckon what I can do with that is wait for it to get real thick and then just put it on the places that I know are going to be issues. Oops. Kicked the camera, my bad. Screw it, let's see what happens. I think it's mostly holding, from what I can tell. And then what I think I'll do after that is leave the tub of silicone over a cup and just let it kind of drain there for a while. See how much I can get out of it. Rig something up so it doesn't fall over. And try my luck, really. I think I will have just about exhausted this cup as well, objectively. I don't think I'm going to get much more out of this. Not really. Yeah, anything else I could get from this is just pointless anyway, so... Get rid of that as well. Then, I will try to rig something as this, that over here. I'm not sure how to approach this particularly. What can I do? It's not going to work. I'm debating whether I leave it in a vice, because I might. I do have one. Might leave it in the vice and set a up under it. That seems doable. Let me do that. Move a few other bits and pieces out the way, but I'm reasonably confident that should work. I'm gonna have to move the camera a bit though. Just to make sure there's definitely a cup under it. I'll turn the fan off for a second as well, because I'm a little dubious about this. I think I might put a board under it as well. That might work. It's all engineering. And then I'll just leave it here for a while. Good grief, what a setup. Okay, it's slowly getting there. I'm just watching it so that I can make sure that when it does eventually get to where I need it to be, there is a cup under it for sure. It's doing the thing. Now I can be sure that the cup will definitely chill. Cool. Well, I can leave that as it is for a while, I suppose. And then, for now, not a lot I can do with this, to be honest. I am probably going to cover it, though, just to stop any random muck getting caught on it. I'll whack some cling film over it, I reckon. If I can coordinate my hands for today. don't want anything to sit. Ah, that's exactly what I didn't want. No, this was a terrible idea. Alright. Right, I retract my previous idea. Because that's exactly what I didn't want to happen. So, never mind that. I will just hope for the best. Gods damn it. That is precisely the thing I didn't want to happen. Whatever, I guess. Can I pop these bubbles that I've made by being an idiot? Can I get away with that? Yes. Yes, I can. Because I do want to be able to get another layer on top of here eventually. That's what I want. Which is why I wanted to cover it. But no. Should have seen that coming, really. Hindsight's 2020, yada yada. Let's try and angle this slightly better. If I can. Kinda. Kinda. Had to move it to make way for the old silicone up setup. Now that it's here, what I might do is make it a little more upright. No, or don't do that. Alright, well, that seems to be doing something. So I'll just leave it as is. This I will just have to hope nothing happens to, I suppose. But I'll use the last of the silicone that I can get out of that container. And just add a little extra on top. Oh, it did leak out one of the holes. There's a surprise. So yeah. I guess I'll contend with that as and when I have more silicone. But for now, that's kind of it, really. Not a lot more I can do with this. So I'll just have to leave it for a while. And yeah, add an extra bit on top as and when I can. Then yeah, kind of that, to be honest. At least for now, that's kind of it. I'll duck out, do a few bits and pieces, and then probably come back and do something else, but I'm not sure yet, to be honest. We'll see. See how lucky I get. So yeah, I'll either catch you guys for more side projects or main project, or I don't know yet. But I'll see you in a bit. Laters.